everybody! Welcome to episode 223 of McRae Live, and this is kind of interesting. This is very interesting. It is Wednesday, August the 30th, 2023, 2:09 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tomorrow, Dylan's New Nightmare releases at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern, over on the Horror Show YouTube channel. Not this channel, on the Horror Show YouTube channel. One more time! Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. This was brought to my attention by George Stegall. I think he also made this post on social media, and I've never noticed this before. Maybe you've noticed it. You'll always run the gamut. You'll get people that are being honest, like, no, I've never noticed that. That's actually really cool. And then you get people that are, you know, too egotistical to admit they didn't notice it. They're like, oh, no, dude, I've always noticed that. I've always noticed that, bro. When really they haven't. And then you'll get people that will say, I always noticed that. And they're telling the truth. But you know there's going to be some people out there that are like, oh, I picked up on that in like 2006, bro. And they're lying. They're a lying sack of crap. Nonetheless, I've never noticed this before. I thought it was interesting. And now, full disclosure, I will say this. It's entirely possible that maybe I did notice it, but I've totally forgot about it. Like, that's entirely possible. And the reason why I say that is not because I'm, being egotistical. The reason why I say that is because, again, ironically enough, I don't watch the Halloween movies as often as some of you probably do. Like, I haven't watched Halloween 4 from start to finish, maybe since the last time Tony Michael and I watched it on episode of 2. The Halloween movies are not movies that I'm watching like on the regular throughout the year, even in the summer or the spring. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, how often do I watch part 4? Once every couple years, maybe. I mean, I know the movie well enough that I don't need to watch it. So it's entirely possible that I might have picked up on this like 25 years ago, when I was a teenager, and was like, oh, that's kind of cool. But I've totally forgotten about it. But I can't use that as an excuse because I don't know. I can't remember. But I just want to say that it's possible. But because I'm not watching it on the regular, I might have forgotten about it. But anyway, we'll have to go with the fact that I don't remember that, so I'm going to go with I've never noticed this, which is really cool, which is really interesting. And of course, it's a scene in Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, when Sheriff Meeker and his deputy, the deputy goes out to the car, and the squad car, the patrol car, and the door's open, right? The back door's open. He's like, what the fuck is this shit, right? And clearly it's because Michael was in there and Michael forgot to close the door. And so the deputy goes into the trunk, grabs the shotgun, closes the trunk, goes back inside. And it's during this scene here that in the background, you actually notice Michael Myers standing there, if you're paying attention. Now, here's the thing that makes it tricky. When George had shared this on social media, there's lots of people that are like, oh, that's so cool. My God, that's totally him. And I was a little skeptical at first. When he actually sent them to me in a DM. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, well, yes, it could be, but it could also just be the way that light and shadow are falling in the background, right? I'm not seeing, it's not obvious to me until the last, like literally the last second, then it becomes very obvious okay, I think this is what it's supposed to be, because you don't see his mask, you don't see, you see kind of what looks like it could be a shoulder and maybe a hand. But again, is it just with how the light is falling and that kind of stuff? Not really sure. And you certainly, I don't believe it is conclusive based on photos. Based on photos, it is absolutely conclusive that this is Michael Myers. No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. You have to watch the actual movie and watch the, 10 or 15 seconds play out to be like, oh, he totally is standing back there. I didn't notice that. Now, because it's not, you're not seeing his mask and, it's not like the Annie thing in part 1, right? Where, it's clearly him. No, you just kind of, is it a grip? Is it, is it somebody that's not supposed to be there? I don't know, but I don't think that's the case here. So let's jump over to the other screen and show you what I'm talking about. So let me just go over to the other screen here. Where's the other screen? There it is. Okay. So I'm just going to let the scene play out. I've muted it, so you'll see it. We'll be able to watch it, but I muted it just in case, they come after me. They probably will come after me anyway. But anyway, so let's play this just a little bit here. Actually, I'm actually going to just take me off the screen so you guys can see a bit better. Okay, here we go. So it's right back here. You see this here? Now, at first glance, you're like, well, I guess it could be, but it could be, but it could just be like a chair or something. But right there, did you catch that? Right there. It's at the very last second that somebody is clearly standing there, right? So again, from this moment here, it could just be the way the shadow is. It could be a chair, something in the background. I don't know. Yes, I agree that this definitely looks like it could be a shoulder and an arm and a hand and a leg. I definitely can see how people could make that out. But just based on this still image, I would not say that it is conclusive that it is definitely Michael Myers, but after having watched the scene play out and actually see the movement, which you'll see right coming up right there's the movement, right? If I just go back a frame, you'll see it. There's the movement. There's definitely somebody standing back there. Now, whether that actually is a physical body or if that's just a shadow on the wall, and he's actually in a different position, I'm not sure. But clearly that is definitely somebody standing there for sure. But again, the fact that you don't see the mask, you don't see anything else, it makes me kind of, again, at face value, I'm like, well, is it one of the grips? Is somebody just kind of watching on the is that where the monitor is? Because, keep in mind, folks, that that could be where, Video Village is, right? Which is basically where they set up, the monitors and they're watching in the other room. Now, again, do I think that? No, it likely is supposed to be Myers lurking in the background there for sure. But to be fair, it is something that I do think needs some analysis because you don't see his face. You don't really see anything. You just see kind of a shape, no pun intended, and maybe that was the idea, a shape that sort of looks like it could be something. But I'll tell you right now, if it wasn't for the last second in this shot, I wouldn't take it to the bank unless Dwight Little or somebody came forward and said, oh yeah, no, that is definitely supposed to be Myers. That was the intention. That's Wilbur. He's standing there. Or that's Morga. He's standing there. And that is exactly what it is. We shot it. He's there. We had this light cast on him. Then it's like, okay, that's conclusive. But without that, if he didn't move, and even with him moving, there's still an argument to be made. Although it's small, you could present the argument and say, well, maybe it's one of the because we don't see his mask. We don't really see anything. It's just, it looks like somebody's kind of hiding behind a little bit. Maybe he's kind of, but I will say that I do think that based on what I've seen, how it's framed, right? The lighting in the background, all that kind of stuff. I do think that it is supposed to be Michael Myers for sure. But again, if it wasn't for this moment here, watch in the background, the last second. Oh, hang on. Yeah. The last second in the background here, right there. Let me go back. You're taking me out of it again. So we're going along. Oh, hang on a sec. Okay, we're going along. There's the shape back there. But again, right, could just be, I don't know, something. I don't know. It's not immediately obvious to me until this moment right there. There it is. There's the movement. That was the movement. But without that little movement, I would have been like, well, yeah, it kind of does look like there's somebody standing there for sure. But without confirmation, it could easily be not somebody standing there. It could have just been the way it could be a chair or something. It's entirely possible to make that argument without the movement. That's why George, I don't know if you're watching. Oh, he is watching. He said in a super chat. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. I'll get to your super chat in a second. But without that movement, like just the still frame, yeah, I was like, oh, I don't know. I have no idea. Could be, but it may not be. So, but I am going to say that, yes, that is Michael Myers standing there for sure, based on, the framing and all that kind of stuff. For sure. That's something. Again, I like to do these kinds of shows because there's very little that's new when it comes to, like, unless you're reading, of course, the Taking Shape books and all that kind of stuff. But I just mean like, the day-to-day discussions, which, by the way, one good scare, the Halloween only show for my tier 2 members on my membership here on the channel. If you want to get in on that, you may want to get in on that. We're going to be having our first episode soon. I'm just trying to lock down a date at the moment, but we're going to have our first episode soon. And that's the show where we can talk about shit we've talked about 1,000 times. We can dive deeper into certain theories or analysis or the season of Halloween and all that kind of stuff. So if you want to get in on that, just saying, my link to my YouTube membership is in the description. But it's very rare that we actually have something new. You know what I mean? Like it's rare that something new pops up. So when George sent me this, I was like, oh, this is interesting. I've never noticed before. Like I said, it's possible that when I was younger, I did pick up on it. But because I'm not watching these movies, and I'll be honest, and I'm just saying that you Halloween fans are crazy. You're wild. I'm not watching these movies nearly as often as you are. I mean, there's some people that watch these movies like all the time, like maybe even several times a month. It's true. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying, because I don't fall into that category, and the last time I watched part 4 from back to front, or front to back, and like I said, might have been when I watched it with Tony. And even then, I'm in the middle of hosting and I'm talking with Tony, and so you're 75% paying attention at best. And so the last time I watched it on my own, like just sat down and watched it, probably would have been when it was on AMC during Halloween time, and that might have been, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, maybe even a bit longer than that. It's been a while. I think because I know the movie so well, I don't feel the need to watch them as often as maybe some fans do. But some fans just watch them a lot because they love them. And that's fine too. There's nothing wrong with that. But again, I think like it's entirely possible. And look, I mean, if you're somebody that's like, no, I never noticed that. It's entirely possible that you noticed it years ago too. But because you haven't really paid attention, watched it, a lot, that maybe now you're just sort of remembering it or whatnot. And like I said, it could be the other way too, that no, we didn't notice it, and now there's nothing left to look at. Like, I think that's probably what happened with George, is that he's watching the movie, and because he's watched it so many times, he's now paying attention to other things, right? Whereas when you're watching that scene for the first 30 times, you're paying attention to the actors and you're watching them, their performances. But when you've watched a movie so many times, now you start to pay attention to other things because, you know those things so much, right? So I thought it was really interesting. So one last time here, let's go over to the other screen and let's just roll it back here. And so the deputy comes in. There he is. He comes in. There's Meeker lighting some candles. And there's Michael Myers right there in the background, just standing there. There's his shoulder, his hand. He's standing. Ooh, and there's the movement. There's the movement right there, folks. There's the movement right there. It's like, it could just be, oh, there it is. It moved. I'm getting it now. I'm getting it. I wonder if that was Wilbur or Morga. I don't know. What do you guys think? You think that was Tom Morga or was it George P. Wilbur? I don't know. I have no idea. But pretty cool. Pretty cool indeed. All right, let's jump over to the chat room and see what you guys are saying. By the way, just to let you know, the It's Me Billy Chapter 2 campaign link is pinned to the top of the chat. Really want to get those Blu-rays up and see if we can sell off those final 2 associate producer perks, folks. If we want that epic stream to happen, we gotta make it happen. So just saying, would love to check in on that and get those sold off. It would be really, really great. A couple super chats did come in. Let me go back. The first one comes from Richard, Movie Chat and More Part 2, says, "Hey Dave, could you give a shout out to my dad, George?" Hello, George. He's 77 on the 18th, and ask him why he didn't laugh at the Those Aren't Pillows scene. George, why did you not laugh at the Those Aren't Pillows? We're disappointed with you, George. We're disappointed. But you know what? Hey, I mean, Richard, different strokes for different folks. I don't know. Maybe your dad had an incident with that. I don't know. Maybe I'm not really sure. I have no idea. Or maybe he's seen the movie so much that he doesn't have to laugh at it anymore. He just knows it. I mean, I don't really laugh out loud at it. Or maybe George, maybe your dad was laughing internally. He found it hilarious. He was laughing internally. I mean, you know what? I mean, there's lots of movies I find rip-roaring hilarious that I don't necessarily laugh out loud to. You know what I'm saying? It's more of an internal thing. Maybe that's the thing. I don't know. Anyways, happy early birthday to you, George. Hope it's a good one. Let me see here. Super chat from Jordan Ellis. Hey, what's going on, Jordan? You were at the digital premiere the other night. Says, hope all is well. DNN was fantastic, and huge thank you again, Dave, Miko, and the Horror Channel crew for all your dedication, hard work. Well, thank you, man. Thank you for showing up and hanging out with us and watching the movie. You know, it was great to have you there, and it was great, obviously, to be there with Ron and Cindy and Vince and yeah, just a lot of fun. And Miko, of course, too, and Cecil, and a lot of fun, and so glad that you enjoyed it. And yeah, that's right. Tomorrow, I was going to say 3. Tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 p.m. Eastern time, over on the Horror YouTube channel, Dylan's New Nightmare drops. It drops and becomes a thing. So very excited to finally have it out there, to finally get it out there and see what people are going to say. And I'm already anticipating, because that video that I made in the makeup room during my first day in the makeup that I posted just about 10 days or so ago. It's already got like 14,000 views. It's been skyrocketing over the last like 3 or 4 days. There must have been an article that was written somewhere, or it was shared on some Facebook page that has like 1 million people or something like that. I don't know, but that video had like 4,500 views, and now it's got 14,000 in like 2 or 3 days. So it's been shared somewhere. I don't know where, but it's been shared somewhere, and I've been getting a lot more comments on it. And you know, there are people that are commenting on my teeth, folks. For those of you that yes, Freddy in that video has very nice straight teeth. Do not worry, that's BTS, folks. That's just in the makeup room, just farting around. When we shot the movie, I can guarantee you, I mean, I even have a chipped tooth. So I went all method for you guys. Just saying. No Crest commercial for Freddy in the actual film. But I've already seen some people chime in, it's okay, not my Freddy. Not my Freddy. No. Of course, you can't please everybody, right? There's going to be people that love it. There's going to be people that will be like, and that's fine. That's totally fair. You know, and then there's people that don't like me and they hate me, and they're going to be like, oh, Dave McRae, Dave McRae. You know, you're going to get those people too. So I'm expecting it. I'm expecting the backlash. I'm ready for it. Bring it on, baby. Bring it on. No, but hopefully the vast majority of people will appreciate what we're doing and settle in and appreciate it. And you know, and again, as I've said many times, if I feel the need to say it across social media tomorrow, I will. This isn't about replacing Robert Englund. This is about honoring Robert Englund. And look, the fact of the matter is, and listen, I'm not replacing him officially or anything. This is after all a not-for-profit fan film. It's not like I've been hired to replace him officially. I would totally be open to that phone call. Just saying, I would love to take that phone call for sure. But the fact of the matter is that whoever replaces Robert Englund, I've always believed that the job of an actor, when you are stepping into the shoes of a performer or of a character that's been played so brilliantly before, is to bring, as you've heard me say 1,000 times on this very channel, to bring the essence of the character to the screen. I'm not Robert Englund. Nobody's Robert Englund. Do I subscribe to this idea that Robert Englund is the only person in the world that can play Freddy Krueger? Absolutely not. And as I've said 1,000 times, who also subscribes to that? Robert Englund. All right. That doesn't mean that Robert Englund is not, he is not Freddy. He will always be identified as Freddy. When Robert Englund passes on, it will be Freddy Krueger actor dead at, 96 or, whatever the case is, right? I mean, that's what it will be. That's his legacy, and it's incredible. And he is the GOAT. He's amazing. He's Robert Englund. We love him. We cherish him. He's a horror icon. He's a modern day, Vincent Price or Christopher Lee or, whatever the case is. Absolutely 100%. But Robert or nobody but Robert, I don't subscribe to that. And it's not because I'm trying to disrespect him. It could be because I'm an actor and I understand the role of an actor, and I've been a professional voice actor for 20 years, and so I don't subscribe to that mentality. I understand that yes, he will always be a certain generation's Freddy for sure, just as James Bond, or Sean Connery is always a certain generation's James Bond, or Harrison Ford will always be my Indiana Jones. Of course. But does that mean that there's nobody on the face of the planet ever in the history of mankind that could ever play Indiana Jones? Of course not. Just as we thought that nobody could be the Joker like Jack Nicholson. Nobody. Heath Ledger, the 10 Things I Hate About, the romantic. And now people consider him one of the greatest, if not the greatest Joker of all time. So this constant, look at Ben Affleck, Batman, and now people love him. So, this pattern that you see all the time in fandom is, although I understand it, I understand the emotional connection that people have, totally, because I'm right there with you. But I don't subscribe to that mentality that it is impossible. Now, it's very subjective. So you could put walls up and be like, no, I don't want to deal with it. I'm not going to, that's fair. To me, that's fair. If you don't want to support a movie or a story or a film because somebody's been replaced, even though that actor is too old to play the part, for you, it's just like, you know what? No, it's not for me. This person will always be my fill in the blank. I actually support that. Believe it or not, I actually do. I hope and always wish that people give whoever it is a chance, but I actually support that because they're standing by their principles. And, they are, I actually kind of support that. You know what I mean? Now, I don't support death threats, and calling people out online and all that nonsense garbage that just is ridiculous. Of course not. But if somebody privately is like, well, you know what? I wish them the best of luck, but it's not for me because this person will always be my Han Solo or Indy or Freddy or James Bond or, whatever the case is. Hey, you know what? You got to give credit where credit is due. And I get it. But so that's how I feel about it. And that's how I approached the character of Freddy. I looked at it as a challenge, as an opportunity to step into big shoes. Even though it's unofficial, it's the most official you can get without it being official. And so I look at this as an incredible opportunity, and I hope you guys enjoy what I brought to the table. And just know that, like I said, it's not about replacing Robert. It's about honoring him. It's not like we're kicking him to the curb saying, get out of here, you old fart. You're no good anymore. That's not what this is about. It's about honoring Robert and the legacy that he has so brilliantly created. You know what I mean? And it is big shoes to fill. It's difficult, but no actor, whether it's me, whether it's whoever it is, should ever go into that role looking to do a Robert Englund, Freddy Krueger impression. You want to bring the essence of the character there, the vibe of the character there, so that when people watch it, like I said, they go, well, it's not Robert, but I totally believe it's Freddy. And then you've won. Now, again, you're always going to get people that are going to go, no, fuck you, Freddy, Robert Englund or nobody, Dave McRae's a fucking idiot, he sucks. You'll always get that. But, those are usually from people that don't know their ass from their elbow and are just too, emotional in everyday life, and don't really understand nuance. And, generally those are the types of people that will take to all that kind of stuff, right? But, the people that get it, hopefully will watch it and be like, oh, you know what? That was good. It's like there was a guy at the Mad Monster convention. And listen, if you don't like me at all and you think I suck, like if you actually genuinely think I sucked, like, oh, that was fucking terrible. That movie was shit. Like genuinely, not out of spite, not out of your emotional attachment and love for Robert, but clearly like you actually thought it was crap. Well, hey, that's fair too, right? I mean, if that's actually how you feel. But if you're just doing it out of spite, that's where it's kind of like, okay, you're just, come on now, grow up. But there was an incident at the Mad Monster, not an incident, there was at the Mad Monster convention back in July when we first screened it, there was a guy that came up to Cecil during the photo op and he said, listen, he says, I just want to say that I'm a Robert guy, but that was pretty fucking good. And that was really cool to hear. You know what I mean? It was really cool to hear him say that because he full on admitted that he's probably one of those people. I don't know, but he's probably one of those who's like Robert or nobody. No, nobody could do it. Nobody could do it. And we were able to kind of, I don't know if we changed his mind, but we were able to show him that there are other actors out there that can do it, that are willing to do it, that are ready to do it. You just have to find the right person. Whether that's me or somebody else or whoever it is, that's what it's all about, right? It's about honoring the legacy. And I firmly believe that it can be done. But I do understand the emotional nostalgic attachment. I do understand. Anyway, thanks, Jordan. George Stegall, hey, there he is, sends in $10. Thanks, buddy. Says, hi, Dave. Thank you for the shout out. Hope you have a great day. I'm looking forward to seeing your performance as Freddy. It's tomorrow, buddy. Can I get a But Dave? But Dave! There you go, man. Thanks very much, George. Really appreciate it. Really, really, really appreciate it. And then I think there was another super chat that came in. Wasn't there? Did I miss it? No, there it is. Josh McKenna. Hey, Josh, what's going on, buddy? Josh sends in $9.99. Thank you, Josh. And oh, hang on. I think I lost you here. Oh, damn it. Hang on. Did I lose you? I did. Hang on a sec, Josh. I'm going to go back over to here. There you are. Josh McKenna says, have you seen Blindside with Sandra Bullock? I did when it first came out in like 2010, 11, something like that. The real life football player Michael Oher, who the movie was based on, recently claimed he was never legally adopted. I heard about that. Yeah, I did hear about that. To be fair, I don't know the details of the story particularly. So I'd have to dive into that side of it. I know there were people online that were calling for, see, this is what I'm talking about. Like it never ceases to amaze me having done the YouTube thing now for about 6 or 7 years. It never ceases to amaze me. But at the same time, I'm still always kind of taken back by the absurdity of people's behavior online. And listen, there are some people that do it. There are some people that will behave wildly inappropriately from their own accounts. And I guess there's some credit that's got to be given there. At least they have the balls to actually be an asshole from their own account. But one of the biggest problems with online, and I don't know how you change it without, it's tricky because obviously, people are entitled to their privacy, which is a very, very big thing and a big issue when you're online. But the anonymity that, creating fake accounts and multiple accounts and, you can see these people coming a mile away. Like, I love it when I get a comment from somebody that, doesn't like me, all right? They're kind of calling me out on something. And I go to their channel page and they created the channel, 13 minutes ago. And it's like, oh, okay, well, block. Listen, I don't like to block people, but if you're calling me out and you know, Dave McRae, you know, and you created your channel 13 minutes ago. Well, that tells me that you are obviously one of my regulars who I've blocked multiple times, who had to create a new channel just to comment. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, anyways, I don't know, man. I'm nearly 45 years old, and I grew up at a time when none of this shit existed. And it pains me to think that a lot of these people are people my age and older, because it's like, bruh, is that how you talk? Bruh? Okay, yeah, bruh. Come on, man, grow the fuck up. But yeah, there's a lot of craziness online, and this whole idea that Sandra Bullock should give back her Oscar. That's like, shut, no, for what? There's nothing to do. I mean, if she knew about it and she was some sort of involved in some sort of nefarious thing to get the thing, you know, created, and she was like tight-lipped and we're gonna do this, and it comes out as this big scam and all that, well then, yeah, maybe there's an argument there, but there's no evidence of that, and she was hired to play a role, and she did it well. And now, whether she deserved to win that year, I don't know. I got to go back and look. I'm not really sure. But this whole idea of her, shut up. Just shut up. You don't know. You have no idea what the hell you're talking about. It's just, it's mind-boggling to me. It's like the social media is just, God, there's a lot of people online that just are, and I'm not here claiming to be the smartest person in the room in the world, but man, there's a lot of idiots out there. I'm telling you, it's just, and you know what I'm talking about. You know, you see it. How many times a day do you know, you're scrolling and you're like, holy Jesus. You know, it's like, wow, how does this person not kill themselves? I don't mean, but like get themselves killed, I should say. I got to say it that way. Because I'm not advocating for the other, but I mean, like, how do you not get hit by a car? So, like, how are you this dumb? How are you like, what is going on? My goodness, how are these people? Oh man. And then you get the trolls that, of course, are most of the stuff, not all of it, but most of the stuff you see online is just manufactured outrage, right? You've heard that, you know what I mean? You've heard that before. Like people that are just outraged professionally. That's what they do. You know, believe it or not, it's true. Being outraged is big business. It's big business today, isn't it? Right? You know, with all the culture war channels and all that kind of stuff. Don't worry, I'm not going to go on my soapbox and go on that again. I've done a couple of, I've done that a couple of times, but it's big business, right? You know, being professionally outraged is big business. And again, that doesn't mean that these people, you know, whatever side you're on, don't have valid points. I'm just saying that whoever thought that, you know, 30 years ago, they'd be like, hey, you know, being angry, being professionally outraged will one day make you a lot of money. And it's like, wow. You know what I mean? So anyway, I try to take things with a grain of salt and, navigate as best as we possibly can. But I think because Dylan's New Nightmare is a fan film, although again, like Never Hike Alone, like It's Me, Billy, it's professionally produced top to bottom. You know, and I think people should enjoy it, should enjoy the hard work that they've put into it. Again, I'm not a writer on it. I'm not a director on it. I'm not a producer on it. I'm just an actor on it. Okay. So, some people have asked, you know, is it going to be on this channel or whatnot? No, it's going to be on the Horror Show YouTube channel. So if you're not subscribed to them, go over there, subscribe to them. That's where it's going to drop at 9 a.m. Pacific tomorrow, 12 p.m. Eastern. If it was my movie, it'd be here on this channel, but it's not my movie. So, it's got to be, I mean, I guess it's my movie from a certain perspective, but, it's not my movie creatively. So I didn't write it, direct it, produce it at all. So it'll be on the Horror Show YouTube channel. But yeah, there's lots of, I think because of that, because it does carry the fan film moniker, I think it'll probably get, you know, even from the most vitriol, you know, the nastiest people might not be so butthurt over it if they don't like it or they don't like my portrayal, because they know, well, maybe there's still an opportunity for, you know what I mean? But, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. I'm very proud of it. I'm very proud of my performance. I think it's, you know, all things considered, I think it's a great pilot. I think it's a great audition. Like I've said many times, you can't get this close to the real thing without it being the real thing. And what I mean by that is that, you know, it's professionally shot and the production value is great. We got Miko Hughes, an Elm Street alum. You've got Ron Sloan in there. You got Cindy in there as well from, you know, Friday the 13th Part 6. You know, you've got Nora Hewitt, Mikey Rotella, who's a professional makeup effects sculptor in Hollywood, who did the creature at the end of Smile amongst a ton of predators and all that. He's the real deal. He did the sculpt on me. You got Nora Hewitt, who's professional, won season 9 of Face Off. She's worked on The Mandalorian and Ghostbusters, and she did the application. And so, you know, and there, so it's like you can't get any closer to the real thing without it being, it's as close to the real thing as you can possibly get without it being the real thing. So that's really cool. So it serves as a pretty cool audition for Miko as well, because he's been out of the acting game for a while and he wants to get back into it. And I know that he's hoping that people really take to it, and he's fantastic in it. Shout out to my dream brother. He's fantastic in it, and of course it works that way for me too. You know what I mean? So and for everybody involved. So it's I really hope you like it. I really hope you enjoy it. Again, it's a short film, obviously. When you want to produce something in professional quality, it takes a lot of money, and sometimes it's, you know, you have to produce something shorter or you need a lot more money. But I think people will enjoy it and be really enticed by it, hopefully to see more. And yeah, we're very proud of it. I'm proud of it. I'm proud of everybody involved in it. I'm proud of everybody's performances. It was wonderful to work with everybody, and I hope that I hope you guys enjoy it. But yeah, I mean, Josh, I mean, that whole thing sounds interesting. I'd like to know more about it, but the whole idea that Sandra Bullock has to give back her Oscar based on everything I've seen is just manufactured outrage. It's bullshit and it's nonsense, and it's coming from people that don't know their ass from their elbow with what they're talking about. It's the truth. All right. Let me scroll down here. Did I miss any super chats? I don't think I did. Let me just double check. I don't believe I did. Josh, George, Jordan. Okay, good. I did not miss any. Wonderful. All right, take a swig of water here. Let me see here. Great to see my channel members here. By the way, yeah, if you want to become a member here on the channel, the link is in the description. There's 2 tiers. And we've just gotten started. I just launched channel membership like 3 weeks ago. And tier number 1, you get emojis and badges. You get your name at the beginning of every show and stream on a card, and of course you get access to the members only Q&A. Tier number 2, you get all of that, but you also get access to horror movie nights, which is a watch along, which we just did last Saturday with The Blob. You get access to One Good Scare, which is the Halloween only show, which I'm going to be doing very soon. That'll be a lot of fun. And you get access to member only images and member first images. There's a real cool member first image on my channel right now from Dylan's New Nightmare, just saying. Yeah, so if that interests you, check it out. And of course, every live show you'll be highlighted in the chat as well. All right. Mendel Goodman, but Dave. Yeah, see? There you go. Mendel's a channel member and he gets access to the but Dave emoji. Love it. Let me just scroll back here. Chester Franklin Jr. says, Dave, when I watched Halloween 4 around Halloween time on AMC, I have never noticed that. Still the best opening in the franchise since the OG Halloween 2 and Halloween 3 opening. Cheers, my man. I think that's I would agree with that. I actually like Halloween 5's opening, the credit title sequence. I actually like, the pumpkin being carved. And did you ever notice that during the titles of Halloween 5, it just says Halloween 5? It doesn't say The Revenge of Michael Myers. Have you ever noticed that? Or maybe you've noticed it, but you've never really thought about it consciously. Even though the movie's called Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers, The Revenge of Michael Myers, that subtitle appears nowhere in that movie. Interesting. I wonder how many people's minds I just blew. Of course, it's fairly common, but it wouldn't surprise me if there's still some people out there that don't know that. Dream Villain says, Dave, do we need to watch New Nightmare before Dylan's for any connections, if there are any subtle, apart from Dylan and Rex, and of course Freddy? I don't think so. I mean, I think if you've never seen New Nightmare, or it's been a long time since you've seen it, yeah, I would then watch it. But if you've watched it, like if you're pretty familiar with it, you've seen it a few times, you know what it's about, then I don't think I don't think it's mandatory viewing. I don't think. Just as the original Black Christmas isn't necessarily mandatory to watch before It's Me, Billy, although it would be if you've never seen it, or if it's been years since you've seen it, well then yeah. But if you've seen it, a few times and you know it pretty well, then I don't think you have to sit down and watch it. But why not do it anyway? I mean, that might be kind of fun. Make it kind of, a double, I was going to say a double feature, but DNN's not a feature. But you know what I mean when I say that. Kind of like a back-to-back double presentation. You could do it that way too, even. Yeah. I want to do it that way. I don't know. Oh, and congratulations to Amadusius and Scott Wood, I think. Scott Wood. Scott, I don't know if you've gotten in touch with me yet, but you also won the 8x10 of me as Freddy from Dylan's New Nightmare on today's member-only raffle draw. So yeah, keep that in mind too, that you, if you become a member on the channel, no matter what tier, you get access to member-only giveaways and things like that. And we did our first today, which was 2 8x10s of me as Freddy, and Amadusius and Scott Wood won. Amadusius has reached out to me. He's given me his name and his address, so I'm going to get that off to you, buddy, as soon as I can. I'm just waiting for Scott to get in touch with me so I can do that as well. I can get that off to him. Mendel Goodman just upgraded. Oh, Mendel going hard into the paint and just upgraded. Upgrade. He just got an upgrade, bitches. He just got an upgrade. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Thank you, Mendel, for doing that. Really appreciate that. And don't forget, folks, pinned to the top of the chat is the It's Me, Billy Chapter 2 Indiegogo campaign. It's very important that we try to get those numbers up as best as we can. I want to do the epic Halloween stream on Saturday, October the 28th, 2023. For those of you that don't know what that is, if we reach our goals, I'm going to sit down here on this channel and watch Halloween 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 back to back with some giveaways, maybe a couple of guests. Maybe there'll be a surprise at the end with like an extra movie or an extra something else. I don't know. I don't want to get too crazy, but just saying that I will do that if we sell off the last 2 associate producer perks on the It's Me, Billy Chapter 2 campaign. There's only 2 left. We had 15 up there and there's only 2 left. We sold off 13. There's 2 left. If we can sell off the last 2 associate producer perks, then we will, and get the double blue perk to a total of 303. I think we only have like 95 more to go or something like that. If we can do that, I will sit down and do that stream. I think it's totally achievable. It's totally fair. And I checked the run times of all the movies, and I can tell you it's going to be about a 7.5 to 8 hour, maybe an 8.5 hour stream in one sitting. We'd start at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time and go to 4 or 5 in the afternoon. And I really want to do it, but I want there to be an incentive, something to help out the movie and the campaign. We're neck deep in pre-production right now. There's a few costs that have come up, like I talked about, that may come up when we were doing the campaign, where we could use, a bit of extra funds. It's very important. So I thought, you know what? This is a great way. You guys help me out. I help you out. We have a lot of fun, totally doable. I don't think there's anything absurd about that deal at all. Obviously, you do get your trolls that think I should just sit down and do this for free anyway. And they really don't understand what it's all about. Remember, this money doesn't go into my pocket. I get paid nothing for this. It goes into the business account, which is the production budget for It's Me, Billy. So it all gets put into the movie. Bruce and I don't see a penny. Legally, as producers, we are not allowed to make money, any profit from the movie. We're not allowed to do that. So we see $0. So it really is to help the campaign and help the film out. And if we reach those goals, which, like I said, is totally achievable, I will sit my ass down here and do the epic stream, the epic Halloween stream on Saturday, October the 28th, Halloween 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Some people are like, oh, take 3 out. I don't want to watch 3. Well, maybe you don't want to watch 3, but there's still a lot of people out there that do. And so this is what it is. I included Halloween 3 because it does have fans. There are people that like Halloween 3, and there are a lot of my viewers that would love to watch Halloween 3. So, you know, hey, and I think it's fair. I think it's totally what I'm offering here is absolutely fair, 100%. But we got to get those numbers up. So let me just take a quick look to see where we are on that. So we are, okay, so that's our total right now. Now, and keep in mind, folks, we don't get that, okay? Because, you know, Indiegogo takes their percentage as well, which is about 8 or 9% from that. But that's the total that's been raised. That's the total that's been raised. 147,726, 1,188 backers. But if we can get, let me just get over to the, hang on a sec here. I'm doing this in real time, folks. There we go. So if we can get, let me go down to the double blue perk. Let's see where we are here. The double blue perk. Bear with me. The double blue perk. And there it is. So we're currently sitting at 208 claimed. Now remember, that's Canadian dollars. Okay, it's cheaper for you in the US. But the double blue perk is where you get both It's Me, Billy 1 and Chapter 2 on Blu-ray. Special features include a, you know, behind-the-scenes featurette, you know, director's commentary, and the movie, of course, and trailers and teasers and all that kind of fun stuff on both films. Really cool. If we can get this total here to 303, so 95 more, essentially. If we can get this to 303 sold, that is not... I mean, listen, we've sold 208. I believe we can sell another 95 more. If we can sell another 95 and sell off the last 2 associate producer perks, which is right here. You see that? Only 2 left. Only 2 left. If we can sell those off, again, that's 1,500 Canadian. It's cheaper for you in the United States. Remember that. You're seeing these dollars in Canadian, okay? Our dollar is not worth as much as yours. So it's about 80 cents to the dollar, I think, or something like that, or 79 cents. Or 73 maybe. I can't remember. Anyway, only 2 left. We had 15 associate producer perks left. 15 total. There's only 2 left. We absolutely can sell those last 2 off. I believe we can sell those last 2 off. And of course, you get all of this with it. And remember to click on it so you can see what you get with the perk that you are purchasing. And there's also tons of other stuff. Do you want to see It's Me, Billy early? Now, this won't count towards the stream, but I'm just saying if you've already got your... There's still tons of other shit there. Look at this. Only 8 out of 30 people have claimed this. Only 8 out of 30 people want to see It's Me, Billy Chapter 2 early? Really? Because I'll tell you, once the stream comes around, once you see that teaser trailer, once you see the promotional material, once you see what The Rock is cooking, you're probably going to want to see this movie early. I'm just saying. And again, that's $350 Canadian. That's cheaper for you. There's still 22 of these available. You get your name in the end credits, the digital download package, It's Me Billy Chapter 2 t-shirt, It's Me Billy Blu-ray, and of course you get to see the movie before everybody else. So just saying, there's lots of other things on the campaign that are still available. Posters, autographs, of course, the double blue, that's what we got to get to 303. That's what we got to get to 303 to make sure we can get, that and the 2 associates, but that's what we got to get to 303 to make sure we can get that stream happening. But of course, again, there's hoodies, and teaser poster, official poster, and Victoria Miro autographs, and teaser cover, Blu-ray, t-shirts, still lots of great stuff there. So I'm just saying. But for the stream, the double blue perk from 208 where it is right now to 303, if we sell some off today, I will read your name out right now on the stream. I will read your name out and give you a public shout out and thanks. I will definitely do it. Again, only do it if you are in a financial situation where you can, of course. I mean, obviously I'm trusting that everybody who donates to the campaign is donating because they can, they want to, and they are in a position to do so. That's very important. But yeah, that's what it's going to be, guys. And totally fair, totally doable. And I will sit my ass down for 8 straight hours here on the stream watching Halloween 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 with guests and giveaways, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be munchies. We sitting here eating Doritos. Yeah. It's going to be a lot of fun. And you help the campaign out. You help get It's Me Billy funded, and you get your name in the end credits to be a part of horror history. So I'm just saying, it's a win-win all around as far as I'm concerned. You know what I mean? Like, really, if you think about it, it should be a no-brainer. But yeah, so let's see if we can get that up today. I don't know if we will, but if we can, maybe sell off a couple of Blu-rays today, I would greatly appreciate it. Oh, hang on. It looks like we've sold something, I think. We've sold something. I'll double check in a second here. Let me go back here. We got Movies and Beyond. Hey, Movies and Beyond, my man. Movies and Beyond have become a channel member here on the channel, part of level number 1. Thank you, buddy. Really appreciate that, man. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Let me scroll back. We got Cody Snyder gifted a membership. Amazing. Thank you, Cody. That was very nice of you to do that. He gifts the membership to Melissa. Hey, Melissa, welcome. You are now a crazy member. Or a McRae member, I should say. Thank you very much, Melissa. Really appreciate. Or thank you, Cody. Welcome, Melissa. Appreciate that. And then, of course, Mendel, yes, has upgraded. He got the upgrade. Amazing. All right. Have I missed any super chats? I just want to make sure. I don't believe I've missed any super chats. It does say I've got 2 new members, which is fantastic. I don't know if I've missed any super chats. I don't believe I have. Okay, let me just hit this because it does look like we've sold off something. So I want to go in and see what we have sold. I don't know if it was a Blu-ray. Maybe it wasn't a Blu-ray. Maybe it was just something else, which is still cool. Let me go over here and see who this was. Let's see, it was Josh McKenna. Josh McKenna, thank you, Josh. Picked up a Victoria Miro autograph. Amazing. Victoria will be very thankful and pleased to know that she has another autograph to sign. So awesome. Thank you, Josh. That's amazing. Awesome. Now, again, that doesn't go towards the Epic Stream, but Josh is just showing his love. Josh has been such a great supporter here on the channel through Super Chats and also on the campaign as well. Josh, you're amazing. And Josh, of course, also his picture will be on the missing persons poster, which of course those 2 perks sold out in like a day. It was incredible. They sell out like hotcakes. But you've been a great supporter, a great contributor, amazing, and you picked up an autograph. So that's cool too, because there's still people out there, folks, that haven't got in on the campaign yet. There's still lots of people that could get in on the campaign. Now remember, our campaign closed on July 1st, but because we reached our threshold, our production budget goal, we are now in demand. So we can continue to raise funds after the fact. Indiegogo allows successful campaigns. It's not just ours. Dylan's New Nightmare, Never Hike Alone, it allows successful campaigns who reach their goals to continue to raise funds after the fact, because they know that when you are running a business or funding a movie or whatever the case is, you always can use extra money. It's just the reality of making a film at this level on this scale. It's the reality. Things come up, prices change, contingency, all that kind of stuff. There's factors that now that we're neck deep in pre-production, definitely there's that little extra that we definitely can use. So feel free to help us out. Any perk you pick up, it doesn't matter what, now I'm talking to those who haven't picked up anything yet. Whatever it is, you will get your name in the end credits and you're going to be part of horror history. This really is. That's not hyperbole. I mean, Olivia Hussey, Lynn Griffin, the sequel to Black Christmas. I mean, this is, yes, it's unofficial. It's a fan film, but if you haven't seen It's Me, Billy, you should check it out. We are going to deliver a professional product through and through, top to bottom. This is, yes, it's fan film because we don't own the intellectual property, but this is like Never Hike Alone, Dylan's New Nightmare. This is professional indie shoot through and through, from top to bottom. So you can help us out greatly. And that's what's so cool about crowdfunding is that it's the fans that are making this a reality. The fans make this a reality, not the studios. Not the studios. You are making this a reality. You get your name in the end credits. Like, I helped make this. That's pretty fucking cool, man. I'm just saying. So thank you, Josh. Really appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. Atrocitus sends in a $10 super chat. Thank you, buddy. And says, if you could get on Wham and have them commit to joining the Halloween stream to defend their opinion that H6 is one of the best sequels, that might get some sales worth a shot. Well, yeah, possibly, but I hope people donate. I hope people donate because of me, right? Because they want to hang out with me, and that's not to say that I don't like Mike and Jay. I do, but but keep in mind, Halloween 6 isn't part of the deal yet. Right? It's not part of the deal. So, and there can't be too much time. It's not a show where we're going to spend like an hour in between each show talking about Halloween, right? You know what I'm saying? It's, I mean, listen, just the movies alone are 90 minutes each. Well, 90 times 5 is like 7.5. So just the movies are 7.5 hours. And of course, there's the break, there's the giveaways, there's that kind of stuff. It's going to be at least an 8.5 hour, maybe a 9-hour stream. So I have to be very careful with who I have on, why I have them on, what we talk about. And as much as I love the Wham guys, and they're great, I love, I was going to say Mike and Jason, but I think it's just Jay. Mike and Jay, love those guys. I do. And I absolutely wouldn't hesitate to have them on, but I wouldn't want to use it necessarily as a means to donate. I would hope that people just want the stream to happen. They want to support a good cause because that's what you're doing. Again, remember, that money doesn't go into my pocket. None of this does. It goes into the business account for It's Me, Billy Chapter 2 and goes towards the campaign. So, in theory, I am doing this for free. Yes, it's for my movie, but I don't make any money from the movie. So I still am doing it for free. I'm just having it go to a good cause. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like when a celebrity says, okay, I will do a signing. I'm not going to make any money from this. It's all for charity. It'll go towards, the children's hospital or something like that, right? Like technically they're doing it for free. They're not getting paid, but they're raising money for a good cause. Now, obviously It's Me, Billy Chapter 2 is not a children's hospital. I'm not making the comparison as equal. I'm just saying that the principles are the same in terms of the doing it for a cause that I believe in, that I'm excited about, which is my movie. So I think it's totally fair. And although I get what you're saying, I totally get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. And you're right. If I said that, we're going to have the guys at Wham on here and they're going to come on and Lee's going to come on and it's going to be amazing and all that. But at the same time, I am going to have a couple of guests on, but they're going to be surprise guests. I can't show all my cards. You gotta have some suspense. You gotta have some, some give and take, a little bit of something, you know what I'm saying? But I do get what you're saying. I do. And, but I don't think I could have them on to talk about that for very long. And at the moment, Halloween 6 is not on the agenda. So we gotta, we have to keep that in mind. But I get what you're saying. I just hope people do it because they want the stream. They want to hang out. They want to watch Halloween with me. They want to see what surprises I bring up, which may or may not be Mike or Jay. You just never know. I'm just saying. And of course, help it to go to a good cause. All right. I just want to see here. Fleximetry says, I don't think I'm going out on a limb to say if John Saxon were still with us, he would be in for sure. That's my theory, and I'm sticking to it. You mean in with Dylan's New Nightmare or in with It's Me, Billy? Because remember, he was in the original Black Christmas. So I can tell you that if John Saxon were alive, we definitely probably would have figured out a way to at least get him in as a cameo. He'd be too old to make it believable that he was, it would be too old to make it believable that he was still, a working lieutenant. But he could be that, that legacy character, that guy that somebody's got to go to advice for, you know what I mean? And it would work perfectly in a short film like this. It would work perfectly. So I think, and I can already think of a scene where it would make sense to have him. But unfortunately he passed away. He actually passed away before we even shot Billy 1. He passed away, it was like August 20th, 2020 or something like that. I remember we were still running our Indiegogo campaign for Chapter 1. And I remember making a post about that. So that's too bad. That's too bad. But yeah, if he were still alive, there's 2 fan properties right there that you could totally get him in if you think about it. Let me see here. Scrolling back. Okay, I got Atrocitus' super chat. Did I get any? I don't go to live, but I haven't missed any, right? I don't think I've missed any. Have I missed any? Just want to make sure I haven't missed any. Doesn't look like I have. Let's see. Dude says H6 is the only film in the series that I initially called bad and yet couldn't stop watching it. The other bad ones were bad, but H6 had good attributes, good atmosphere, and Myers' cool look. I agree with that. I think Halloween 6, listen, Halloween 6 is not good. And it's not good, it's not that it's not competently made. It's just the story. It's just the direction where we're going with it. It's just, you know what I mean? And I don't care if you watch the producer's cut or the theatrical cut. This idea and listen, all power to you. I've just never subscribed to this idea that the producer's cut is so much better than the theatrical cut. I think it helps to add context to things that don't quite make sense in the theatrical cut. I think it's fun to watch because it's different in certain things, but it's still the same story and it's still the end result. And let's not forget, actually, to be fair, as silly and weird as the theatrical cut ending is, when just hearing Dr. Loomis, and you just don't know what happened. And then, we ped down and we see the mask on the ground. It's like, obviously they had to kind of do it that way because Donald Pleasance had passed away before the release. But when you look at the producer's cut ending, Donald Pleasance comes back in, takes off the mask. It's Dr. Wynn. And then he sees the thorn tattoo just suddenly spontaneously materialize on his, wrist. And then we cut, and we see Michael now walking away in a trench coat and fedora. I mean, it just seems silly to me. That's Michael Myers in a trench coat and a fedora, just walking away. And it's just like, it's just, I mean, listen, whatever is your jam is awesome. And I support that. I celebrate that. But for me, it's dog shit. And I just feel that, but I will say, you got to give credit where credit is due. The Myers house is more acceptable in 6. The atmosphere is more Halloween. The lighting is better. There's some great shots. For sure. Like, there is a lot to celebrate in that movie in terms of, I like that moment. I like that shot. I like that sequence. Do you know what I mean? But overall, I've never been a fan of the movie. overall because of the direction and the reveals and, where they went with it and all that kind of stuff. So I think H6 gets a pass for a lot of fans because coming off of Halloween 5, where it was a big downward turn in the franchise, like I've often said, Halloween 5 is the movie that I have said, and there's a whole video on my channel, I think it's got like 80,000 views or something that I did like 6 years ago, where I said Halloween 5 destroyed the franchise. And my argument was that every bad decision that came after 5 was because of 5, right? Halloween 4 is actually a pretty decent sequel in terms of, keeping yes, there's things that don't make sense. How can, he's not burned nearly as much as he should be. How can he be seeing? How can he survive that? The fire and all that kind. Yeah, it has its sort of, canonical motivating issues. But as far as a late 80s sequel resurrecting a defunct franchise, because after Halloween 3 in 82, it was defunct. It was dead. That's why Freddy and Jason ruled the decade. When you get to 88, Halloween 4, it's not like it made huge money at the box office, but it was pretty, relatively successful to its little budget. And it was pretty good. Like, it was a decent return. You know what I mean? They did a good job. It's tight. The pacing's good. The lighting's good. The mask isn't great. That's a big hit, but it makes sense. Like, the story makes, like, what could we do? You know what I'm saying? 4 didn't ruin anything. If 5 had been great, who knows, right? But 5, it's the decisions that the director made and just the fact that he wanted to be avant-garde with it and stylistically it just was more of this gothic European thing and it just didn't fit in. Again, it's not the worst movie ever made. It's certainly watchable, but I just mean that it didn't quite, it lost a bit of that identity, that aesthetic, that identity. And the decisions they made in 6 were because of the decisions they made in 5. And H2O existed because of 6. And let's not forget, H2O was initially going to be straight to video, right? I don't know if you knew that, but initially it was going to be straight to video. And then Resurrection was because of the decisions they made in H2O. And then canceling and then having it go defunct again and doing Rob Zombie's films was because of Resurrection. And that, like, you know what I'm saying? So everything can be traced back to 5. Going this way, when they probably should have been a little more traditional, tanked Halloween in 1989. Not that you would have gotten listen, how many 5th installments in horror franchises are great anyway, right? I mean, Elm Street 5, nah. Friday the 13th 5, although it's coming around because it is gaining a bit of a cult following, but certainly, Chucky 5, whatever that is. What is that? Cult, curse? I don't know what it is. Very rarely are 5th installments in slasher franchises great. So, they were behind the 8 ball anyway, but the decisions they made in 5 is what tanked the franchise probably faster than it would have tanked ordinarily if 5 had been just maybe a little more traditional. A direct sequel to 4 involving Jamie, and I have a whole McRae live on my channel where I give my sort of what I would have done with a Halloween 5. And keeping it with Rachel and Jamie, and Rachel survives, and building on that, relationship as sisters and all that kind of stuff. And if they had done that, then I think we would have gotten a different 6, maybe a better 6, maybe a 6 that doesn't take a weird approach with the man and the man in the outfit and all the weird cults. I mean, maybe we would have gone in a different direction. So that's why, I often say that 5 is really the catalyst. 5 is really the catalyst that really began the trajectory of the Halloween franchise becoming a ridiculous choose your own adventure as well. And, I love how people try to, it's a choose your own adventure. It's great. It's, like somehow that was its intention. No, it's a choose your own adventure because of incompetence. It's a start, stop because of incompetent filmmaking and storytelling. That's why, really, at the end of the day, is that you have all these different timelines. Now, you can look at it in retrospect and in hindsight and be like, well, that's actually kind of cool. I can go this way if I want, or I can go that way if I want. And that's totally fair. And that is definitely unique to the Halloween franchise for sure. Freddy doesn't have that. Friday the 13th doesn't have that. I don't think Child's Play has that. You know what I mean? Like it's definitely, Scream doesn't have that. It's definitely unique. But let's not kid ourselves here and try to paint it like some cool thing they always set out to do. No, it's because they didn't know what the fuck they were doing all the time. And it became really annoying. And as a fan, as somebody who's 44, and if you're my age and a bit older, you remember this, it was incredibly frustrating. I mean, maybe the kids growing up now who are just being presented this find it really cool that they can go in all these different directions. But as a Halloween fan, growing up through the 80s and the 90s, well, I guess it'd be the 90s because the 80s, it was still in proper order. But certainly when, in the 90s, when they decided to say that this exists, but those don't. And then when Rob Zombie's, they exist, now they don't. And now we're going to do this and cancel it. It was incredibly frustrating. Although, as somebody that didn't like the later sequels either, I was kind of like, we'll see. I was a little more open to it. But yeah, it's fascinating, man. It's fascinating stuff. Nighttime sends in $5. Thanks, buddy. Says the Halloween 2 TV cut censors the paramedic guy's song. So the TV dub says, Amazing Grace, show me your face. Don't make me cry. I'll tell no lie. Does it really? That's so cool. That's fascinating. I didn't know that, but not surprising. Do you remember, if you're old enough to remember, in the late 90s, I remember this because I was at college. Do you remember TBS, the Superstation? Does that cable station exist now? I don't know if it exists. Does it exist? I can't remember. But they used to play Die Hard 2 all the time. There was a bunch of movies they played all the time. The Game was a movie they played all the time. I think Shawshank Redemption they played a lot. But Die Hard 2, not Die Hard with a Vengeance, Die Hard 2, Die Harder. They used to play all the time. And the censoring they did on that is hilarious. You can look this up. You can YouTube it. It's like famous. And I remember watching it in real time, when there was no social media, no YouTube, and thinking to myself, oh my God. Like, it would be like, I'm not doing the lines right, but it would be like something like, well, listen here, you, like, instead of saying fat motherfucker, maybe he'd say like fluffy. He didn't say this, but I'm just trying to, for the effect, he'd say like, or farting man-child, let's just say, right? But the voice was not Bruce Willis. So it'd be like something like, listen here, you farting man-child, or be like, oh yeah, you farting man-child. It was like that different. It was so different. And I remember and because Bruce Willis swears like a sailor in that movie, I mean, it's Die Hard, it's, oh my God, like every 10 minutes, you would hear like this other voice interject. Now, as a voice actor, I know what that is. I mean, that's ADR. I mean, what's a form of ADR. They've hired somebody to go into a looping session and dub that. Nowadays, it's a bit better. And because now they had this existed then, but now it's a real business now because of streaming, and it's a huge thing, more for commercials and things like that. It always existed then, but it's huge. It's huge now. And that's called sound-alikes. And if you're in the voiceover business or the entertainment industry, you know what I'm talking about. Sound-alikes. I know several voice actors that will get hired to do Mark Wahlberg or, Morgan Freeman, do Christopher Walken, hello, my shoes are tied, whatever, right? They will get hired to do these famous actors because the voice actor is, now again, you don't see them on screen. You'll usually just hear them, or you might see them, but it's dubbed over a little bit, or anyway, I've never had to do that because I'm not an impressionist. That's not my area of strength. I can do a bunch of characters, of course, but I'm not an impressionist. But I know a lot of voice actors that are great and can sound really close, really close. Ryan Reynolds is one that gets hired for sound alike a lot because it's cheaper. So instead of paying Ryan Reynolds to voice this commercial, which is going to cost probably, I don't know, $500,000, we're going to get, Bob over here, who's a professional voice talent, who is, one of his expertise is sound alikes, and he can do a terrific Ryan Reynolds, and we're going to hire him, and he's going to do it, and so he does it, and he will get he still will get paid very well, but not A-list money, but very well, but not A-list money. So yeah, anyway, sorry, I went off on a tangent there. What else is new? But yeah, no, I find that stuff like really interesting, really, really interesting. It's fascinating. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And then Keith Davis sends in $1.99, says, wish it could be more. Keith, that's all right, man. Keith, man, no harm, no foul, man. Everybody is in a different financial situation, in a different financial position. You've just sent in $1.99 super chat, supporting the channel. It's amazing. Thank you, Keith. You rock. Thanks, buddy. Really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to Keith Davis. Appreciate it. All right. Let me see here. Robert Holston says the best Halloween TV edit is the H2O one. Jamie has a line where she says, fuck, the TV edit says, damn it, but it clearly does not match her lips moving. Yeah, well, and that's part of the problem, right? When you get into dubbing like that and you're dubbing for censorship, you will run into that, right? Sound aliking is different, obviously, because, you're being hired from scratch, but actual ADR, in terms of dubbing, it can be tricky. It's a lot easier in animation. Like I've done a lot of dubbing for animation, and it's tricky, but it's easier. It's more forgiving and easier to get away with animation because obviously the lip flap is often 2-dimensional, not 3-dimensional. So it can be a bit easier. But yeah, it's true though. You're right. Matthew, is it Latendre? Is that how you say that? Latendre? Am I saying that right? One of our channel members. I know you became a channel member. I can see by the little badge there. Sends in $1.50. Thank you, Matthew. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Happy Sanjo, one of our great members, says, Dave, were the extra scenes shot for the TV version with that in mind, or were they just extra scenes they had and thrown in? TV version of Halloween 2? Or TV version of the original Halloween? What movie are you talking about, Happy? Just let me know and I'll do my best to answer it. I'll do my best to answer it. Let me see. Scrolling back. See, we got about another 10 minutes. About another 10 minutes left in the show for this episode of McRae Live. If you're just tuning in, you'll have to watch the beginning of the show where we talk about that the Myers you missed in Halloween 4. The Myers you missed in Halloween 4. And then you're going to have to let me know if you actually missed it. Be honest. Because there's some people that are going to be like, I always noticed it. Hey, if you did always notice it, well, that's cool. Then, be honest. But there's going to be some people out there that are just like, I always noticed it, man. I always noticed it. Oh, and they look like that too. The original Halloween. No, that's something Happy, that was shot specifically for Halloween 2. Let me backtrack on that. That was shot specifically for the network premiere on NBC for the original Halloween. They needed some extra footage to fill the runtime. The movie wasn't long enough. I think they wanted it to be about 2 hours, I think. And it's a 90-minute movie. And so they needed just a bit of extra to fill, I think, a 2-hour time slot with commercials and all that kind of stuff. So they went back. I think that TV stuff was shot in 80, if I'm not mistaken, 1980. And they shot that then, probably in and around the time they were shooting Halloween 2. Now, there's been debate online, of course, during the scene during the TV cut. Now, keep in mind, in my opinion, the TV cut version is not canon. Okay, now, this could be, there's no right or wrong answer technically to this, because you can get the TV cut version with certain copies of the original film. But the original 91-minute theatrical cut is always the official version that is shown. That is your master. It's always your master on, and what I mean by that is that it's the version that is, you know what I mean? It's not like they combine the TV cut and it just becomes the version that is now readily available and that you see everywhere and that you can get. No, it's always the theatrical cut. That was the original intention. That was the original cut. That is what you get. And then if you're lucky enough, depending on what version you have, a box set, a special edition, whatever, you might get the TV version with it, right? But in my mind, the original theatrical cut is the official canon. That's the TV cut's not canon. It's nice. It adds some context, but it's not canon for me. Because there's been some debate online, of course, that when Loomis walks into Michael's room after he's escaped, of course, he sees sister carved on the door. And people have often pointed that out to mean, see, he's going back for his sister. He always knew. See, he always knew. No. Okay. Well, first of all, that was shot like in 1980. That's after the fact. That was only put in because they needed to fill the runtime. And because by that time they knew the story of Halloween 2. So now they're just trying to connect the dots and make things fit. That was never the original intention. And who's to say it's Laurie Strode? It just says sister. It doesn't say what sister. It could be Judith Myers, right? You could watch it from that perspective. If you're only watching that movie and you don't include Halloween 2, sure. If you include Halloween 2, then I think it is reasonable to assume that, yes, he might be talking about Laurie and that's who he's going back for. But it's not like it says Laurie. I mean, they could have carved Laurie on the door. He could have done that, but then that would have, kind of tipped off Loomis and made the twist at the end of part 2 completely obsolete. So I understand why it's sister, but there is still a little bit of ambiguity there. Because it could, I'm just saying. But yeah, no, that was shot specifically for the TV cut of the original Halloween. Yeah. All right, we got Daniel Heford. Is that how you say that? Sends in $2. Thank you, Daniel. Says, thanks for entertaining me during the pandemic. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate you saying that. Thank you. And thank you for tuning in. And thank you very much for the super chat. I really appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot. So thank you. Now, I haven't missed any. I want to make sure. I don't think I've missed any super chats. I hope not, anyway. I don't believe I have. And again, a reminder, folks, if you're watching after the fact or if you're watching live now, don't forget the link is in the description as well. And it's pinned to the top of the chat. Let's see if we can sell off those last 2 associate producer perks and get the double blue perk to 303. If we get close, like if we sell off the 2 associate, producer perks and we get to like 300 or something or 299, I'll do the stream. But if we just sit where we are right now, stream's not happening. So we've got to get there. And as I said, I believe it's totally fair and it's reasonable and it's not asking a lot. I'm not asking one person to dive in and buy it all. All it takes, listen, there's 156 people in here right now. right? If 156 people all bought that double blue, we'd be there. Actually, all it would take is 95. All it would take is 95 people right now to go over to the campaign and buy that double blue, and we'd be there. We'd basically be there. We still got the two associates, but we basically there. That's how easy it is. You just have to get people to want to do that, right? You have to convince people to want to do it and support. And sometimes that's easier said than done. And I understand that, but I just want to show the math. It is easy to do, right? 155 people right now in the chat room. If 95 of those people all went, fuck it. You know what? I'll go buy it. I'll go buy the double blue. If 95 of you did that, oh my God, we're like 95% of the way there. Now we just got to worry about the 2 associate producer perks, and we're rocking. It's easy. It's easy. And you're supporting the campaign. You're supporting the movie. You get your name in the end credits. You're a part of horror history, a part of it. That's not hyperbole. So I'm just saying. That's all it takes, folks. That's all it takes. So it would mean a lot to me. It'd mean a lot to the campaign. If you want to show your support to the channel, or say thank you to me, or just whatever the case is, that's a way you could do it. 100%. And it would mean a lot. It would mean a lot because it would mean a lot. It'd mean a lot to me. So just saying, links pinned to the top of the chat. 95. Could you imagine if 95 people right now did that? Could you imagine, all of you right now who are watching from home, could you imagine if we all did that right now? How fucking epic that would be? How wild that would be? That would be wild. I'd fucking lose my shit. I would lose my fucking shit. And I'm not just saying that to entice you to do that. I'm saying that because it's true. I would lose my fucking shit. That'd be wild. That'd be wild. And it's totally possible. Anyway, let me see here. Fauci Cinema. Hey, Fauci, my man. Matthew Fauci, great to see you here. I had a scene in the hot tub with Bud and the nurse in Halloween 2, but it was cut from the film. Yeah, I mean, it happens, man. It totally happens. It's one of those things that unfortunately, and I've seen the scene. It was a good scene. It was a good, it really was your Academy Award winning moment. It was really good. I quite enjoyed it. So yeah, I get it, man. I totally get it. Totally. Let me see. Just scrolling back, trying to get some. Davey Deathray, what's going on? Davey Deathray is in the chat. Great to see you here, Davey. Putting in that Buster Rhymes emoji. I love it. Let me see. Just scrolling back. What do we got? We got a few more minutes left in the show. Orlando Gomez says, oh God, that is funny. And I remember watching it. I think Orlando's talking about the Die Hard 2 thing. Are you talking about the Die Hard 2? Dude. Like what the? It was hilarious. I remember watching it when I was in college, if that's what you're talking about. If not, then completely ignore what I just said. Oh my goodness. Aaron Click, great to see Aaron here, says, I agree, Dave, but if the movies hadn't gone in so many wild directions, would it have had more redundant, samey entries? Well, yes, it probably would have, but it's kind of samey. Like, here's the problem, right? So you make a valid point, but here's the problem. If I counter with that, it's a good point. But if you notice the reboots, you really only get one good thing that people can agree on, and then everything goes to shit again. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, for example, so you have H2O. Now, I'm not a big fan of H2O, but I do understand it's a fan favorite. A lot of fans have an emotional attachment to it for a variety of reasons. For a lot of people, it was the first Halloween movie they ever saw. For a lot of fans, it was the first Halloween movie they saw in the movie theater. There's a nostalgic to it, right? But I understand that generally speaking, the general consensus is that fans seem to really like that movie. Well, okay, hey, good point. Aaron's on. That's good. But then you get Resurrection. Oh, okay. Then you reboot it with Rob Zombie's Halloween. Now, Rob Zombie's Halloween, I think, is a little more divided than H2O is. But then you get Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. And it's like, now we go down again. Then you get David Gordon Green's Halloween. Oh, okay. Then you get Halloween Kills. And Halloween ends. It's like, do you know what I mean? So it's almost like that's a good point you make, but it doesn't last very long anyway. You know, it seems like, you know, you get one good one and then, you know what I'm saying? And part of that really is too, that, I mean, we've just, it's run its course. It's run its course, you know, and, you know, that's why, you know, I've often said I'm a huge, and obviously this probably wouldn't make me a very good studio head, but I'm a huge believer in stories ending. You know, I understand there's no money to be made in stories ending, but, you know, I just think that tell a great story over, you know, 3 or 4 movies and just call it a day. You know, and listen, I understand that if they're continuing to rake in box office dollars, obviously you got to figure out ways to extend it because the demand is there. And I get that. It's just so unfortunate that because of that, the quality of the storytelling is sacrificed. Not necessarily the filmmaking, you know, in terms of the filmmaking acumen and, you know, the production value and, you know, no, I mean, it doesn't necessarily suffer in filmmaking quality, but it can suffer in story quality. And, you know, do things make sense? Are things properly motivated? Is it, you know, does this make, now we're just, it's, what the fuck is this shit? You know what I mean? And that's the problem you run into just by default of making more sequels, you know? So, yeah. Like I said, imagine if they had never made another Halloween movie after 4. Imagine that. How cool that ending would be. Now, it's still a cool ending, but then you got 5, you know, and it's like, And although it doesn't ruin part 4's ending completely, 5 does water 4's ending down a little bit. Even if it's just a little bit, it does do it a little bit, you know? Anyway, it is what it is. It is what it is. All right, folks, listen, that's going to do it for this episode of McRae Live. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you to my great moderators, Frank Riker, Tabitha Short, Darren Sands, Chris Baber, and Cody Snyder, and Andrew Stevens. Thank you for doing what you guys do. I really appreciate it. And to all my channel members, thank you for becoming a McCrazy member here on the channel. If you want to become a crazy member here on the channel and get access to exclusive shows and perks and giveaways and polls and images and all that kind of stuff, check out the link in the description to become a McCrazy member here on the channel. I've only had it up for 3 weeks and we're already closing in on 100 members. Amazing, awesome. You guys are awesome. And and hey, jump into the comment section below and let me know your thoughts on the Myers that you may have missed in Halloween 4. Did you miss it? Were you like, oh, I never noticed that before? Holy shit. Jump into the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. And also, like I said, It's Me, Billy, Chapter 2. I want this stream to happen, guys. I want it to happen, but I need your help. I need your help like I did in May and June. And if we can get to those numbers, which is completely doable, we're not raising 100,000 here. This is well within reach. Well within reach. I believe we can do it. 95 more. I think it's 95 more if I'm not mistaken. Let me just double check here. It's just 95 more of the double blue. It looks like we sold something. Let me go check here and see who this was. Somebody donated something to the campaign. Let's just see who that was and give a shout out. I don't think it was a Blu-ray, but let me just see who this was. We've got coming in. We've got Keith Davis. Keith Davis just picks up the digital download package. Amazing. Thank you, Keith. Thank you, Keith Rockin'. You're going to love it, dude. You're going to love it. And you're going to get your name in the end credits. Get your name in the end credits. Thank you, Keith. Really, really appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. But yeah, if we can get those double blue perks, we need to sell 95 more double blues and the last 2 associate producers. The last 2 associate producers. If we can do that, Epic Halloween stream on October the 28th is happening. Is happening for sure. I mean, barring any sort of, if I got sick or something, obviously, but then we would just move it. You know what I mean? But it's happening on October the 28th. But we gotta meet those goals. So anything, guys, the double blue, get the double blue to 303 total and sell off the last 2 associate producer perks. Maybe there's somebody you know that would totally love to get in on that. Spread the word. Get it out there. Have a great rest of your Wednesday, folks. I love you guys. You guys are amazing. And don't forget, tomorrow over on the Horror Show YouTube channel, 9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Dylan's new Nightmare drops. Finally, it is out there. Oh, hey, we got Matt Fauci. Matt Fauci became a channel member, tier number 1. Thank you, Matt. Really appreciate that, buddy. Great to have you on board. The Fauchmeister is here. Have a great rest of your, I was going to say Thursday, a great rest of your Wednesday, folks, and I will talk to you soon. Cheers.